Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Murata.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Brand new Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays is up next as we count down the days to the big one, November the 13th. Get those tickets now at bostonwrestling.com. Wrestling Insiders coming up now. Tickets are on sale now for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s and 90s WrestleFest Birthday Bash, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, folks, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays. Hope you enjoyed SmackDown, AEW, Rampage, whatever you may have been watching on your Friday night. Maybe a little baseball action. It's that time of the year with the playoffs, the World Series coming up, knock on wood. The Red Sox are still piping hot as they march through October. It was tremendous to see those, the wild card and the division championship game, all three of them within a week. To actually enjoy myself outside of this building was nice. But I don't know if I'm going to enjoy myself even with that as much as we will on November 13th at Memorial Hall when we go back to the 90s with the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, celebrating 20 years of Boston Wrestling, MWF, as we kick off the Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. Does it get better than that in one day?
It's going to be like baseball. You know why? You're going to knock it out of the park with this show. It's going to be a home run. The fans will not go home disappointed. They'll go home wanting more.
Well, like we said, there's only one that we disagree on, but, you know, we'll get there. Well, Halloween's coming up. Speaking of Halloween, Johnny, tomorrow morning, I get on that bird. I don't know if she's going to try and run off the plane again like she did back in June, but Halloween Horror Nights, brother, and you leave what, Monday?
Monday the 25th.
Yeah, so this Monday night, I don't know what time of day you're leaving, but this Monday you're headed out.
7 o'clock.
A.M. or P.M.?
A.M. Well,
maybe we'll have to dine on our city walk.
I'll be there at, I should get to Orlando about 10:35. And then by the time I get the tram over to the Universal, leave the bags at the hotel. I'm staying at the Royal Pacific. By the time I do that...
You like the Royal Pacific?
I like the Royal Pacific.
Why do you like the Royal? I've never stayed at that one.
I stayed at the Portofino. Being Italian, I thought that would be nice. The Portofino, in my opinion, is overrated. The Royal Pacific it's got that Polynesian Hawaiian trend. Very nice. Great folks there. Happy-go-lucky. They enjoy what they do. Water shuttle, very close, very nice. So I tend to lean towards that. I'm not a Hard Rock fan. Those are the three premier hotels.
So I stay at the Jobber ones.
The Jobber?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's all right. I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
I'm still officially part of the Universal family, but you know I got to go over on the shuttle bus, not on the boat. But the kids are happy. That's all that counts.
You know what? And everybody, all my friends that have gone down so far to Halloween Horror Nights have texted me back and said it is awesome.
Well, we're going to have to do a review once we're all home, and
yeah,
as I've never been. I've wanted to go for over 20 years since the first time.
You've never been?
I've never been.
Oh, you are going to have the time of your life.
And even though Linda has been threatening lately, which is a different story.
She's not going to go, huh?
She's just being her. You know, I spent mucho dinero on those VIP packages for the Saturday night, so I am looking forward to being able to get through stress-free, take it all in. Then, if they want to, we can go back on the Sunday and redo the things that they like better.
Did you do an RIP or just a VIP?
No, just the VIP. I don't need a meal.
Get more than that with the RIP.
Well, you get the tour, too, I know.
You get the tour, you get 4 free rides, you get in before anybody else, no waiting in line.
But see, the thing is, I am a annual pass holder. So for the people that are waiting to get in, they have to go through the line to get in. If you're already in the park, you don't have to leave. So I guess that I looked into that.
Yeah, they
put you in a waiting area, I guess. It almost sounded like jail, but that's all right.
You'll have fun.
If I can get through a haunted house or two before everybody else, yay me.
I think there's a lot you want to get through.
Do you think one night we'll be able to do it all even with the VIP, or do you think we'll need that second night?
I have no idea. I know with the RIP that I've got, you get into all the haunted houses. We'll start at 7.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Start at 7. We're usually done by 11.
And it closes pretty late.
Yeah, I think it's midnight. It closes at midnight or 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. But with the RIP, it was great because they never used to give a meal. It was just
now
you went.
You get the meal.
You got together. Well, what they gave you in place of the meal was, I don't know what they're going to do this year, but the first time I did it, you got the 2 free shows. Bill and Bob's in the arena, they have the musicals.
Oh.
So you were in the front rows, which is very,
that's
very nice. And you went through all the haunted houses, and then you got the 3 or 4 free rides, you know.
Now, has Moniz ever been?
No.
No, also it'll be a first for her too. Now, do you usually stop at Mel's Diner when you're there?
No.
You don't like Mel's?
Over in The Simpsons?
You what?
The Simpsons side? Mel's Diner, that's where it is.
They have the old cars.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, that's not for you?
No, I stop at the donut shop.
Oh, the Voodoo Donut on the way in?
There,
or the one
and then
in
if you go over to the Simpsons side,
oh, you're a
you
donut
get that
guy.
big donut. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You like the donut.
Plus, if you go into the gift shop, I always buy a couple of their bars, bacon and chocolate bars. Oh,
what is it?
Bacon and chocolate.
A candy bar with bacon in it?
Oh, but let me tell you, we wasted 6 minutes on Halloween Horror Nights.
You know what? It's worth talking about.
All right.
Do you think that if Universal sees Linda, they'll think she's one of the witches and want to keep her?
Well, see, one of the rules of Halloween Horror Nights is you can't go in dressed as anything.
She doesn't have to be dressed up.
Well, maybe her and Moniz might stay.
Hey, don't talk about my friend Moniz like that.
You never know.
All right, Johnny, a lot going on in the world of professional wrestling. We talked a little WWE and Boston Wrestling MWF last week. We'll continue to talk Boston Wrestling MWF because we need to sell out that hall, baby. When we go back to the 90s, those VIPs are flying about as fast as the RIPs down at Halloween Horror Nights. But I'm talking AEW, Johnny, AEW Rampage, fresh off the air tonight. What did you think about yet another quality talent from WWE? Maybe a little long in the tooth, leaving well, he was released, but gone from the WWE Universe, now part of AEW. Man that competed for us at Memorial Hall down the street. We always push the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. At that point, he was a superstar of tomorrow. Now he's a superstar of today. Fresh from NXT, now on AEW, Bobby Fish from Albany, New York. High quality talent.
Can't wait to see that young man. High quality is the word, I guess, because this guy can do it all. And I think it's going to be a great thing. He went out, he proved himself. He proved himself, and I think that's important because, you know, a lot of people go, yeah, WWE, you're picking up all the trash. Whoever says that doesn't have too much, another Kamzagami, no garbage in the can, you know what I mean?
I'll say this, you know what, AEW has maybe gone against the grain of their original plan, which was to develop their own talent. But if you look at everyone that they've picked up and signed that's left WWE, can you think of a bad signee they've had? You're talking about Punk they got on their own, but Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, Ruby Soho, Andrade Almas, who I can't believe they missed the boat on as bad as they did, and is the partner of Charlotte Flair. Malachi Black, who was completely wasted in WWE.
Well, they're doing
now
wonderful
Bobby
things
Fish.
with him.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I love that.
It's unbelievable.
Well, then I'm going to tell you, Halloween's coming. Look out for Bray Wyatt.
That no-compete clause is coming up, baby.
Look out for Bray Wyatt.
Where do you think he's going?
If he doesn't, he's a fool. And if they don't pick him up, they're even foolish.
What about Impact? I heard they've wanted him, no?
You know what? Braun Strowman is looking at Impact TV. As much as I think the world of this young man.
Wrestling fans, sorry to interrupt your favorite episodes of Wrestling Insiders, but truly need your help to keep Wrestling Legends working and these shows produced. Get early, uninterrupted, full screen access to Wrestling Insiders, along with our studio shoot interview DVD library, as seen by millions online, exclusives and more by joining the Boston Wrestling Patreon family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Check out the link to the Boston Wrestling eBay store in the description box below. If you're watching the premiere, the Super Chat button is open for business, or send a donation of any size using Venmo at Boston Wrestling or PayPal using bw@bostonwrestling.com. Again, sorry to interrupt, but we can't keep giving you these free talk shows without your support. Now, back to the show.
And he has a lot to offer.
Now, which one are you talking about?
Braun Strowman.
Okay.
Bray Wyatt, we already know how I feel about Bray. That was a dumbass move on WWE's part.
Amongst the worst, unless there's more than we know about, one of the worst ever as far as their chosen releases go. It's one thing for someone to let their contract expire and they want to go somewhere else. For you to kick him in the ass and shove him out the door into someone else's arms,
that was stupid.
Is absurd.
Because I'll tell you, truly, I believe he was the new Undertaker. He had that much charisma, that much control over the crowd, and he knew how to work them. I mean, when he first came out, when he first started the Bray Wyatt gimmick with the family, you were there. Look at all those lights. Look at all those cell phones. How do you control that many people?
I have to admit, I wasn't as big of a fan of that as I was The Fiend.
I agree,
I love The Fiend because, simply put, he was someone fans were willing to pay money to see.
I agree.
To not just watch it on TV for free, but to take money out of their wallet, time out of their lives, go to the venue and see him. And, like you just mentioned, merchandise-wise, I thought other than Roman Reigns, he was probably the most bulletproof full-timer they had in the company.
I would have to agree with you on that.
Again, maybe there is more than meets the eye. Maybe there was... You never know in this crazy industry.
Well, if Reigns doesn't do it, he's not going to be bulletproof anymore.
What do you mean?
If he doesn't pull off what they want him, because they're going to make him the man.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be switching him to face pretty soon.
But do you think we'll see Bray maybe on a Halloween themed episode of AEW Dynamite or Rampage? Would you save him for the pay-per-view coming up they have in November? How would you debut Bray Wyatt if he goes to AEW?
I would do a Halloween-themed show.
Yeah.
And I think what I would do is use the old Titantron trick, fog, mist, and the voice, and then the face. That would be the nuts. That's all you have to do. Remember what we just talked about the last time? Throw it out. Bait the hook. That's going to be the match for the pay-per-view. You got him. You got him. You don't necessarily have to bring in the body. Just bring in the parts that you really need. Whoever it is he's going to face, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, whatever. Just bring in that mist. Bring in that that Tron. Maybe the lights go out. That music starts for the Fiend. Can't use the Fiend anymore.
Right.
But they'll find a character, and I think that'll go over very, very heavy. Just with Punk. Same thing with Punk.
I think that it might actually be the way their TV schedule is with their Wednesday and Friday TV show. I believe Halloween is on a Sunday this year.
It is.
So maybe what they could do is maybe just have something eerie, happy with their set without actually using him, just to kind of set the tone. You know what I mean?
But
and
I think
build
you
the suspense.
Yeah, but the eeriness could be due to anybody there. Because you get some crazies who got the other crazy that's there that WWE let go. So you know it could be confusing. I think you've got to give an indication of who that person is. However you do that, maybe something falls from the sky. Maybe there's a hologram. Anything that can happen. Maybe at the end of the show, the ring fills with smoke and the person falls through, and maybe just a hand of the Fiend comes up. Just anything.
Or maybe just a hand.
Anything. Anything.
Then you can get away with it.
Yep.
But anyway. All right, wrestling fans, let us know what you think about Bobby Fish and AEW, how you would debut Bray Wyatt if he goes to AEW in the coming days and weeks, and anything related to the world of pro wrestling. If you're watching during the premiere on Friday night, leave your thoughts in the little premiere box. The Super Chat is open as well. Or if you're not joining us live due to all the great things going on in the month of October with sports and Halloween parties, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. We'll be back after this brief timeout, fans, because forget about Halloween. If you want to see some goblins and crazies, and I tell you, just look at the VIP lineup we have, Johnny. You talk about a unique major 8 that we have. Yep. Saturday night, November the 13th, Memorial Hall. We go back to the 90s for WrestleFest, celebrating 20 years of BostonWrestling.com. Get the remaining VIP packages and tickets now at BostonWrestling.com.
Tickets are on sale now for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s and 90s WrestleFest Birthday Bash, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Pittsburgh Civic Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Friday, October the 22nd, 1993. In the opening contest, Owen Hart beat Bastion Booger. Bret the Hitman Hart with the win over Jerry the King Lawler. The Head Shrinkers defeated the Smokin' Guns. Lex Luger victorious over Ludwig Borga. WWF Tag Team Champions the Quebecers retained the titles over Men on a Mission. WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon retained the title over IRS via countout. And in the main event, WWF World Champion Yokozuna retained the title over The Undertaker. If you were in Pittsburgh live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep Wrestling Legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the
wrestling fans around the corner, around the world. I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store. Check it out.
On October 28, 2020, Wrestling's Scariest Night was back with WWE NXT Halloween Havoc. This limited edition collector's autograph poster is number 12 of only 100 produced and is signed by all 9 superstars featured on the poster, including Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, Dexter Lumis, Cameron Grimes, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Gonzalez, and your Halloween Havoc host, Shotzi Blackheart. Comes with WWE authentication hologram on the back. You'll also receive an on-air thank you from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and a bonus mystery autograph photo. Help keep Wrestling Legends working. Get this awesome collectible now. Wrestling fans, especially here in the Boston area, we want to thank our great friends at Red Rose for their support for all of our charitable endeavors and programming efforts. Red Rose is 2 years young and extremely thankful for all the support they've had from our neighbors here in Melrose and beyond for an amazing first 2 years. Red Rose thanks Melrose and all of the first responders who have fought the good fight and have never given up hope during these unprecedented times. We did it together. Follow Red Rose on Facebook for their anniversary special, facebook.com/Red Rose Melrose. You'll be glad you did. Open until 2 a.m. Red Rose will give you fresh, piping hot, mouth-watering food that'll put an ear-to-ear smile on even the toughest critic's face. Check out their full menu online at redrosema.com or give them a call, 781-620-1889.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back. Johnny, in addition to the big event, we got a lot of fans outside of the Northeast that may not be able to join us. The holiday season is coming outside of Halloween, and it's the one that you and I love the most. It's part of our Paul Bear Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. I know we're really not allowed to say the C word in certain parts of the world. Some get offended by it, but I do enjoy December the 25th. The eBay store is open 24/7, folks. We have some rare, unique items of superstars of every era, most of them in extremely limited quantities. If you head on over there, not only are you going to get a great collectible for yourself or a loved one, you're helping keep the lights on here for us to bring you more great guests. So don't forget about the eBay store. Along with the Patreon, Johnny, it's one of the #1 streaming platforms in the world of professional wrestling. You get studio shoot interview DVDs in their entirety. You get early full-screen access to our Wrestling Insider studio shoot interview talk shows each night. You get some Patreon exclusive videos, and you help keep the Wrestling Legends working. Again, that can be found at patreon.com, whether you're watching on a computer, whether you're watching on a tablet, a cell phone. You can take us anywhere, Johnny. Whether you be on a computer screen or in your pocket, we're everywhere. And I know you've been in a few pockets in your days, but that's a different story for a different time. We're talking a little bit about AEW, Johnny. Have you had a chance to see Roads to the Top yet?
Who, what, where?
Roads to the Top.
No.
Oh, you've got to see Roads to the Top. You have, I mean, really, you need to see Roads to the Top. It is, do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No.
It is a reality. Out of the page of your former almost in-laws, the Rhodes have their own reality show now. Where Brandy,
No, I don't want to see it. It's like...
Where Brandy, is heavy into her life as a major executive in the world of professional wrestling, and her, the grizzled veteran that she is, taking the younger talent under her wing. And Johnny, you have to see Roads to the Top.
What channel is this on?
It's on after Dynamite on Wednesday nights.
Really?
You have to see Roads to the Top. It is so bad.
So bad?
Oh, I mean, absurd. But you have to see it. The way they portray Brandy Rhodes, as if not like she's even Stephanie McMahon, but almost Vince, you have got to see Roads to the Top.
I'll take a look at it.
Well, again, we'll give them the cheap plug. There's a lot of fans out there that may love it. On TNT Wednesday nights after Dynamite. You know what? You're going to miss it. Dynamite is going to be at Agganis Arena when you're down at Halloween Horror Nights.
I know.
This Wednesday night.
I feel bad about that. My friend Justin Roberts, I text him out, and he throws me out a shout, hello, when are you going to be back in Mass? That date comes up, and I go, oh. I was so looking forward to be at a live AEW event. So looking forward to it.
I wanted you to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I wanted you to check it out.
Maybe I'll fly back.
And then fly back down the next day?
No, I don't think so.
That would be...
Moniz wouldn't be happy.
That'd be a little much even for you, Johnny. But no, for the fans of Boston, if they missed it the first time, they're in for a treat. I think AEW is a much more polished, refined product now than it was even the first time it was here. And I enjoyed it the first time they were here.
Well, you going?
Oh, as long as Linda doesn't
jump off the plane
or throw me out of the plane.
Okay, so say
without
hello,
a parachute.
Say hello to all my friends there for me, please.
I absolutely will.
Yep.
I'm sure, of course, everywhere I go, they'll be saying instead of "Here's Johnny," they say, "Marty, where's Johnny?" They don't realize that we always don't travel together.
No, we have no.
I know one thing I would like to do, and I really haven't mentioned this to you much, is an idea I have for Mania next year, down deep in the heart of Texas in Dallas. You have to get your little cowboy hat, though. Have you ever worn a cowboy hat?
I have. And I had cowboy boots.
Why? Wait a minute. Why have you worn a cowboy
When I used to, one of the jobs I had going through college was mucking stalls at Pine Tree Stock Farm and doing trail rides.
Do you have photos of you in a cowboy hat?
No.
They've been destroyed? Or?
They've somehow gone the way of the albatross.
I would have loved to have seen, well, you know what, maybe in Dallas next year, but I would have loved to have seen you in a cowboy hat.
I have not been invited to Dallas.
Well, maybe I'm going to invite you.
Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. But again, big night at Agganis Arena for all the folks here in Boston. Last month, they got Raw. They get to see a world title change with Big E defeating Bobby Lashley, cashing in that Money in the Bank briefcase. I don't think I was ever so happy to be in Las Vegas, because if I sat there, my eyes would have been rolling, to be kind. That wouldn't have been, and that's a funny thing, Johnny. Since that venue opened in October of 1995, I had not missed an event there.
Wow.
But I did miss due to the Cauliflower Alley Club. And you know what?
Good miss.
I was happy to be in Vegas.
Good miss.
With your good friend Captain Lou, who you said was dead. He took great offense to that. And didn't fan.
Lou Albano.
No, but not that wasn't that Captain Lou, though.
I understand that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I know we got a great reaction to the Rey Mysterio speech. I don't know if you had a chance to check that out yet. But we did some nice intros. The CAC is very happy to have us push the great Cauliflower Alley Club, and we're going to have more speeches in the weeks and the months to come. Like I said, instead of CAC asked me to try and help give them the platform to put it out there on, instead of just putting the entire ceremony on one video and having everybody done with it, almost like the morning of Christmas when you devour through the presents in 5 minutes with the kids and then it's over. If we release it slowly, it gives the fans something to look forward to and enjoy over a period of time. One man's opinion, but we'll see.
Humble opinion.
Humble opinion. Well, not cheeky baby way.
Oh, all right.
I don't need to be humbled that way. Linda will do that to my wallet in Orlando. But anyway.
Does she really like you?
Huh?
Does she like you?
No.
I mean, you're always beating the poor woman to death here.
No. Whoa. It's the other way around, my friend. The other way around,
I'm not getting involved into it. You know what?
Well,
Linda?
You can say hello to her November 13th.
Hello, Linda.
No, November 13th.
Oh, she's going to be there?
She'll be there.
With the cash box. Like
probably.
the last time.
Hopefully she won't be able to throw it at me this time.
I remember.
Oh, do you remember old Johnny? Let me ask you this. I don't know if you heard about it, but one that turned my stomach as much as I have been praising AEW of late. I'm sure you've heard the news that come January, both of their signature programs, Dynamite and Rampage, will be moving to TBS due to some sports commitments that TNT is going to take on. They don't want to have to worry about interrupting Dynamite and Rampage. I think that's a good move. But where they already now have the TNT title, which for some reason they're not going to get rid of, even though they're not going to be on TNT, they have added the TBS title. And it is going to be a second women's championship to a very lackluster women's division. Very lackluster women's division.
Well, they haven't got Fabo involved yet.
Wrestling fans, sorry to interrupt your favorite episodes of Wrestling Insiders, but truly need your help to keep Wrestling Legends working and these shows produced. Get early, uninterrupted, full-screen access to Wrestling Insiders, along with our studio shoot interview DVD library, as seen by millions online, exclusives and more by joining the Boston Wrestling Patreon family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Check out the link to the Boston Wrestling eBay store in the description box below. If you're watching the premiere, the Super Chat button is open for business, or send a donation of any size using Venmo at Boston Wrestling or PayPal using bw@bostonwrestling.com. Again, sorry to interrupt, but we can't keep giving you these free talk shows without your support. Now, back to the show.
If I were involved in the women's division, we'd have the fabulous world of AEW women's wrestling.
You could be the man that you and Vicky Guerrero could turn it around.
I think Vicky, let me tell you, you know how I feel about Miss Guerrero. She is, in my book, one of the finest. Whenever I do a seminar or a speech about managers, Paul Heyman is in there. I said, look at Vicky Guerrero. Both of these people just walk out. Don't have to say a word. One word, Vicky Guerrero had you. Excuse. 2 words.
2 words, yeah.
And she never got the me out sometimes. So Vicky did a wonderful job. If anybody can start that. Now, all of a sudden, you see this women's division is catching on.
Why do you need 2 women's champions on in a company that, to be kind, doesn't even have a women's division as good as Vince's?
Well, because let's put it this way. You know how it's going down. We have the TNT women's title.
No, TBS.
TBS, all right.
TNT is going to remain a men's championship.
Okay. So now they're going to have 2 separate titles for the women. Is that what you're saying?
There's going to be an AEW women's championship and the TBS championship.
One of those has got to go away, right?
I would get rid of one. I wouldn't have.
They'll merge them.
But they haven't even debuted it yet.
I know, but when they do, when they do.
What would be the purpose of creating it if they're going to get rid of it?
It's a storyline. But you know what?
I can't see that happening.
Well, you know what? Khan has done stranger things. He's done a great job with what he's got. I think if he didn't have...
This is, in my opinion, this is one of his first misses in a while.
Don't say that. Because,
I haven't seen it executed yet, to be fair.
But you see, I always wait till it's done. Because you go, then you look at the execution and go, that was brilliant. Brilliant the way that was handled. I mean, look what happened to Roman Reigns. The execution to turn him into that heel that he is now and giving him Heyman as a mouthpiece. And now Heyman finally turns on Brock Lesnar. It's like, wow, Lesnar's a free agent. And he left that message for Paul Heyman on the phone. Don't worry about me. I can go wherever I want, when I want. Click. Awesome. Awesome. It still leaves that question, though. Has Heyman totally abandoned? It's great. Great writing. Great. So I think
I'm glad they took an idea I had and put it to use.
I agree. I agree with you.
I'm sure someone else there thought of it.
I agree. They did think of it, but I agree with you. And I think AEW has done a great job with their storylines.
Well,
you're not a fan of the women's division anyway.
I think the problem is, Johnny, we're running into now, whether it be Ring of Honor, whether it be Impact, whether it be even, I think, MLW now, I could be wrong about that, AEW, the 3 brands of WWE, the new WOW women's promotion that's going to be in syndication in the fall of 2022.
That's going to involve...
AJ Mendez is the face of it, and Tessa Blanchard.
Yep.
I mean, there aren't enough good women's wrestlers to fill all these positions. I hate to say it, but you know what? It is reality. It's not sexist. It is reality. The wrestling does not look real enough for them to present quality divisions across the board. Maybe if there were 1 or 2 companies that wanted to have high-quality women's divisions and all of the women that were good were in those 1 or 2 companies, okay, I would buy that a little bit more. But where you have every promotion that has any sort of television whatsoever, even the NWA I'll throw in there, because they were involved with AEW for a while trying to include their women, in one man's opinion, there's not enough quality bodies out there. They might be fine human beings. They might give it 110% effort. But when that bell rings, if the offense doesn't look real, it does not belong on national television, male or female. But the trend, through my eyes, has been female.
I guess the only thing I can say in retort is perhaps they've been too selective in who they take on.
Too selective? They'll take anybody with the balls.
Take a look at my friend Mendez.
AJ Mendez? Oh, no. Who's Mendez?
She was down there at NXT. My mind is...
Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah, that's it. My mind is outstanding athlete. There's a lady that can put it over and make you believe. You know, you may not think much of Mickie James. I've worked with her. She's another one that can put it over and make it work. So I think what's happening is to pick women for the sake of picking women to get into the business because I've got a contact or I know somebody, I think is doing a disservice. Look, I work the indie shows. I've seen women talent out there that could kick your ass.
I'm sure.
All right. So, but
why, those are the ones I want to see.
Right, but why are those young ladies not getting picked up? Well, maybe we ain't purty enough. You know, maybe I'm a little bit on the plump side. That's wrong. That's wrong. It's discrimination. What they need to do is look at the ability of the individual they're bringing in. You know, I'm just going to go backwards, if I may, for a while. When I first got into this business, you didn't have to be an Adonis. Look at Haystacks Calhoun. Look at some of the other wrestlers that came in and had that midriff. Look at Fabulous Moolah. What kind of figure did she have? Pine board? All right? You got I think what's happened is... I don't think
he had a lot of TNA back then with some of those women. Donna Cristinello.
Right. You know, Wendy Richter.
But she was a lovely lady.
Yes, but still what happens is we've lost track of what it's really all about. We've lost track of people who have talent. Somehow it's all about the beautiful people. You know, I always said this. I look at all these
Well,
commercials.
it is a television production, no matter what promotion you're talking about. You know, but I agree with you that I think it should be 80 to 90% based upon ability.
I agree. I'm not arguing that. And there are a lot of, and I believe me when I tell you, there are a lot of young ladies out there that I've worked with that have the ability and produce, and I sit back and go, why aren't they being called up? Why aren't people looking at them? You're too small, you're too thin, you're too fat, you just don't look right, your hair's, why did you shave one side of your head? You know, I think we're missing the boat here. We don't do that with the male wrestlers.
Well,
you know?
If you were a single woman, Johnny, would you have any interest in dewdrop?
Why do I do this?
Little love making.
Why do I do this? Next.
Drop into the pants, but anyway.
What's this?
I could see you know, where her verbiage is a little difficult to understand. I believe she's a native of England.
Yes, she is.
You know, I think maybe she could use a more Americanized manager.
You know what?
Maybe you could guide Dewdrop to the top.
We're going right back to where we started from because from women to managers, I'm an advocate. I don't know why they stopped using managers. They were part of the product and a very helpful part because you take guys like Roman Reigns, who has just learned to handle that mic now, who wasn't able to do so, a Brock Lesnar who can't do it, and you got that manager that can do it for him. I think this is what's missing with the women. And it doesn't have to be a woman to manage a woman wrestler. You know, I think that's where they're missing the boat. I think they need the mouthpiece. They need somebody to go out there and work with them.
You know who I think could have really helped them the most at this point? Would have been Vince.
Absolutely.
I think he's at the point now, not to throw ageism into it, but I don't think he's going to be very effective as a physical threat towards any of the men at this point in his life. But I think with some of the women, you could come up with some very interesting stories.
I got to tell you something. That man is jacked. For a guy his age, he's got...
Let's call a spade a spade. I don't think anyone watching the TV show is going to say there's a threat to Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns.
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, if you throw him into the mix with Sasha Banks or Becky Lynch,
maybe a manager or whatever.
Maybe not a manager, but just someone that's involved in their storyline.
Oh yeah.
I think he would give them credibility, and they'd get some rub out of it.
Absolutely correct.
All right, we agree on that. Fans, let us know what you think. The premiere chat box is open to our right, as is the super chat. If you're not watching the live premiere, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free right now. We're going to take a brief time out so you can head on over to BostonWrestling.com, get the remaining VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling MWF's 20th anniversary bash, Saturday night, November the 13th, when we go back to the 90s at Memorial Hall. Stand by.
Cheer. Why, hello. I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product, so support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer. You know?
Wrestling fans, the countdown is on to Boston Wrestling MWF's 20th anniversary bash, Saturday night, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. Join WWE Hall of Famers Hacksaw, Jim Duggan, and Bob Backlund, Marty Jannetty, the Doctor of Style Slick, the Berzerker, Doink the Clown, Duke the Dumpster Droese, Aldo Montoya, plus JTG of Cryme Time, two-time Impact Wrestling World Champion Die Hard Eddie Edwards, John Cena Sr., and Oscar of Men on a Mission for live wrestling, an autograph photo fan fest, VIP Q&A session with the kickoff to the Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive in a must-see event 2 decades in the making. VIP packages and tickets are on sale now at bostonwrestling.com. We'll see you live in Melrose November 13th.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store. Check it out.
Here's your chance to own a piece of history from the 2020 WWE Draft. On the second night, October the 12th, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Alexa Bliss unleashed hell on Andrade and Zelina Vega. This limited edition 11x14 collector's poster is number 26 of only 50 made, personally signed by both The Fiend and Alexa Bliss, direct from friends at WWE. Comes with certificate of authenticity hologram on the poster itself, suitable for framing. You'll also receive a bonus autographed mystery photo and an on-air shout-out as our thanks to you. Get this ultra-rare autographed Fiend and Alexa Bliss poster now.
All right, Johnny, it's hard to believe that I think 3 weeks from tomorrow, the big day at Memorial Hall, everybody's going to be there except for, well, it's a different story for a different time, but you never know how things may sort out. There's, like I said, we could make a documentary or write a book about what's gone into this event from when you look at it, from when we started to put the pieces of it together back in the fall of 2019 with the virus we never heard about and changes in themes and Memorial Hall and City Hall. And I mean, it's been quite the experience. And someday maybe we'll tell the story. Let the fans
Might be the last show there.
You never know. Could be. Could be.
You never know what's going to happen.
The building's in rough shape.
It's
in rough shape.
Yeah, it needs some renovation.
It's forget about back to the 90s. I think it's in its 90s.
Yeah, so. That could be a real nice live professional theater.
Yeah.
If they renovated put some theater seats in there.
Well, you know, what's funny, up until 2008, they couldn't even rent it out in the summertime because they didn't have air conditioning.
No AC in there.
So it was...
I know, we did a show there in the summer.
And the AC wasn't on? Really? Well, that's probably because of the, Mrs. Garrett.
I'm not doing that. Let's move right along.
We'll move right along. Move right along, baby.
Be kind.
What about CM Punk, Johnny? AEW, maybe the face of the company at this point. He did some recent interviews hyping up the product, and he talked almost like we are about the good old days of professional wrestling, the back to the 80s, back to the 90s. He said Hulk Hogan was a piece of shit. How do you really feel?
Well, brother, you know, the Hulkster just wants you to know, Punk.
You know,
I'm surprised Hogan didn't come back on Twitter and say, you know what, I had a chance to wrestle Punk at a WrestleMania, but I couldn't make it. It's usually one of those Hulkster comebacks.
I just think that sometimes you get caught up in your own bullshit.
Yeah.
When you start believing your own character and you start believing your own hype, you know, I think the world of Phil Brooks. I've said it many times. I highly respect him. Very intelligent, very smart. He truly loves this business. He really does. But to come out with some of those remarks, the way they're coming out with, you know, I appreciate what he says about Adam Cole. But when you come out and attack a guy like Hogan, remember, the guy's a legend. He was at the right place at the right time. You might not like the person, but respect what he did. And I think that's what bothers me. Do I think Hogan's the nicest guy in the world? No. Do I think Hogan might be hung up on himself? Yes.
Do you think he's a piece of shit?
No, I would never use those words.
Never?
Ever. Never.
Really?
Never. Never. No.
Neither would I.
There's such a thing as respect. And regardless of what you feel or how you feel, you know, there's a right way and a wrong way to say things. You know, you can... I always said this to somebody. I can sit here and tell you to go to hell as long as I get a smile on my face and you'll like it. You know, so, you know, maybe people think that, and if you read some of the banter from those young men and women that hide in their mother's bedroom basements, and they're all saying, you know, who cares about CM Puke or CM Punk? So, you know, look in the mirror before you make comments, or at least substantiate them with better English language. Don't demean and be derogatory. How about, you know, God love his wife, she's going to be the executive producer for WOW. She's involved in Wow.
Oh, AJ.
Yeah. Mendez.
Lee.
Yeah, AJ Lee, yeah. She's going to be there. I mean, you know, what's the old saying I say? I've said it many times here. Don't piss in the wind.
Yeah. Well, he also stated that he felt of the two that Bret the Hitman Hart's body of work in career held up better than Shawn Michaels. I was kind of surprised by that. I gave it actually a lot of thought, and I guess I can agree with the point of view even if I don't agree with the statement.
Well, you got to remember, you had two different styles,
Yeah.
two different individuals. So what's the basis for your statement? You know, Shawn Michaels had that macho, almost Magic Mike, you know, the strip club.
Yeah.
That's the kind of charisma he brought. Where Bret Hart brought to the business the Hart Dungeon, you know, hard wrestling, the real deal. So you had two different kinds of people. So I don't know if I agree with that statement.
To me, I don't think anyone ever had a greater variety and body of work than Shawn did.
I agree.
I mean, he had some of the elite matches that I've ever seen with such big guys, small guys, quote-unquote five-star wrestlers, guys that weren't so great. He could have a great match with just about anybody. And Bret was right up there, too.
Both of them could wrestle a broomstick and make it look good.
But I have to say, if there was... he wasn't the biggest star. He wasn't the biggest draw. He wasn't the greatest promo of all time. But match for match, pay-per-view, if I wanted to put on the best match possible, Michaels would be the guy I would go with. You may pick someone from West Newbury. I don't know.
Interesting.
Michaels would be my pick.
I think, like I say, if you were looking for charismatic, show-style wrestling, that was Shawn Michaels. He could take this bottle of pop and make it look good. If you were looking for wrestling, then you'd be picking Bret Hart. So I think it's unfair.
You would consider Bret the greatest?
I wouldn't say he was the greatest.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think, see, in my book, it's very difficult for you or me to sit here and say, he was the absolute greatest in the business. There are so many greats.
And there's so many variables to look
yes.
at. Yeah.
And that's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
So good luck, Punk. It's your opinion.
No, that's his opinion.
Yep.
You want to talk about opinions? Did you hear about what Mick Foley had to say on social media? Mick ripped his friends in Stamford, Connecticut, saying if he was a young talent, he wouldn't trust WWE with his career. He thinks AEW is the place to go.
Is he looking for a job?
Wrestling fans, sorry to interrupt your favorite episodes of Wrestling Insiders, but truly need your help to keep wrestling legends working and these shows produced. Get early, uninterrupted, full-screen access to Wrestling Insiders, along with our studio shoot interview DVD library, as seen by millions online, exclusives and more by joining the Boston Wrestling Patreon family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Check out the link to the Boston Wrestling eBay store in the description box below. If you're watching the premiere, the Super Chat button is open for business, or send a donation of any size using Venmo at Boston Wrestling or PayPal using bw@bostonwrestling.com. Again, sorry to interrupt, but we can't keep giving you these free talk shows without your support. Now, back to the show.
No offense, Mick. We're good friends. You know, you can take it. You can take it. You can also
Have a
give
nice
it.
day.
Yeah, I think that he's kind of backed himself into a corner. I think that when I follow Mick, I think Mick's a hell of a guy. Nothing but good words for Mick. He and I both have a great affiliation with Santa.
Yes,
and
Lovers of Christmas.
Yep. So my whole thing, and I've done the comedy show with him, my whole thing is that...
He's been here in the studio.
Yep. I think he kind of goes to whichever side he thinks it is, and sometimes I'm saying, do you really know what you're writing? Do you know what you're saying here? Because when Vince reads that, you know, there's, you know, his son works for the WWE.
Right.
Dewey.
Yeah.
And I'm going, man, oh man, do you realize what you're doing here? I don't think sometimes it's all in there. He just comes out and blurts. If that's the case, you never would be where you are. So I think you have to take a look at that. And there
Let me ask you this, though. Do you agree with him?
Well, let me put it this way. if I lined up 10 people here, male and female, want to get the professional wrestling business, and I said AEW or WWE, who do you think they'd sign with?
I would say WWE more than likely.
And they would risk their career just to have on the resume WWE. So all I'm saying is, don't come out with that kind of statement. If you are coming out with that statement, back it up. And I mean, back it up.
How would you back it up?
Well, if you're going to come out and say, if I were a young talent today, I would not trust WWE with my career because of the insecurity, because of the lack of storylines, because of the jobbing, and because I'm there for 6 months and they boot my ass out. So why? Give me the why. Who, what, where, and why.
And I don't know how young Mick was talking, but how many talents has AEW taken from scratch and turned into main event personalities?
None.
None. I really can't think of any.
No, I'm with you.
I mean, you could say maybe from the independent scene, Darby Allin. You know, he's right up there. They've aligned him with Sting, which has been good rub for him.
Yeah,
but
it's
again,
a good rub, yeah.
He's a very smaller guy. Jungle Boy, the fans seem to like him, but again,
I hate that
very
name.
smaller guy.
I hate that name.
Yeah, I don't like boy in any
derogatory. I'm surprised they're allowed to use it.
I'm surprised that people haven't gone after it. It doesn't offend me, but you know how the world is in 2021. I mean, MJF, they've turned him into, I guess, an effective heel. But someone that can carry the company like WWE has with some of their young talent, I haven't seen AEW do it yet.
No, it's not.
So that's why I think Mick maybe, now would Mick maybe say for a free agent, could their careers go a better path than they would in WWE, like a Malachi Black, a Daniel Bryan, Andrade Almas, Adam Cole? Okay, I think you have a much better chance at having a debate than you would as far as guys that are just, you know, breaking that glass ceiling and getting into the mainstream Major League Wrestling.
I would agree with that.
I think it's, maybe Mick worded it wrong. I don't know. Maybe he did mean the young talent. But I think as far as the free agents type go, I think, you know, you could make an argument that AEW certainly has handled a lot of those talents that have come into AEW better than WWE has.
I would agree on that also. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Mr. Foley now.
Well, do you think he's going to be invited to the next Legend show?
All I know is winter's coming, the ice is thin.
And we're not talking about that song he wrote about in his book, Winter.
No.
I know you were are you a fan of the song Winter?
No.
No. Why? What's wrong with the song Winter?
I don't like winter.
Oh, well, that's why you got the Fabo Estates down in Florida. All right, wrestling fans. Anything else I forget from the list, Johnny? No, we got to get you to. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? How much time we got there? Running out of time really quick. What were your thoughts on AEW becoming aligned at the hip with Dr. Martha Hart and the Owen Hart Foundation?
I think that's a big score. I think that is a score of scores. That's going to really do a lot. I think it really will. Let's see what happens, though. I'm sure Vince isn't happy about that move. But you know what? They did what nobody else thought they could do. One more time. One more time. So let's wait and see.
It was nice to see that Martha Hart felt like she was treated with the respect that she deserved, that the foundation deserves, that Owen's legacy deserves.
Owen's legacy, that's right.
You know what? At the end of the day, the man died on that company's watch. And whether you agree with her or disagree with her, he chose her as his spouse. It's up to her what happens with that legacy, at least until she passes, and then I imagine the trust would go on to the children. If she feels like AEW can do an admirable job with it, apparently they're going to do a tournament. They're going to have action figures and include them in video games and things like that. You know, I think that's a positive all around. Maybe not for WWE, but, you know, again, she asked WWE to leave his likeness out of things, and how did they respond? They put out a 3-disc DVD set.
Yes.
So, I mean, did they make that much money off of it, that it was worth that much ill will?
Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think that helped the cause at all.
No, if anything, it threw more gas on the fire. And
it probably made a Hall of Fame induction even harder.
Well,
I don't ever see that happening.
Owen Hart?
Yeah.
I would disagree on that.
You think she'll agree to let him in the Hall of Fame someday?
Well, you know, I'm just going to go one step further.
All right.
Bruno Sammartino never wanted to get in either. It was Triple H that kind of smoothed the ruffles out. And
Yeah, but Bruno didn't die falling from the top of an arena in front of 15,000 people, and then they scooped him up like he was a pile of dog shit in the street and continued the show, and then leave it up to his spouse to decide what to do.
You know what? I guess I have to say this.
All right.
I couldn't really know what to do because I'm not in the man's moccasins. At the time that happened, I think we were all in shock.
Oh, yeah.
To allow the show to go on might have been, in many people's eyes, a poor decision, but it might have been the best decision in the long run.
Why do you say that?
Well, you just can't stop. You can't say it's over. Somebody's been injured. Never said he was killed. They said he was injured. Only after the fact do we find out that when he fell and hit that turnbuckle, it broke his neck and he died. So,
do you think they should have stopped it once they found out?
I think at that point it had gone too far. You're into it. You're into it. So, do I think it was disrespectful? Yes. Do I think that somebody should have made an alternative decision? Yes. But the man that has to live with that is Vince McMahon. Not you, not me, not the fans, Vince. And
that's why I think that's one that they should just let rest.
it should be over and done with. I
don't think they ever should have put that DVD set out.
That was a bad thing to do because it's rekindling what people don't want to rekindle. So now with AEW picking the situation up, I think you're going to see a whole different light. And what should have happened was there shouldn't have been the argument. There should have been the immortalization. It should have been not make him a saint, but at least let's honor what we're doing. Tournaments, you know, do it right.
Let's help fund his foundation.
Yeah, well, see.
That might have gone,
yeah.
even though, you know, you can say it's just money, but you know what? That might have helped the cause too.
Well, the whole thing is we've got two different mindsets, unfortunately. And I don't know, but like I say, I think the right decision is made. Martha Hart is happy. In the memory of Owen, God rest his soul, I think he's happy too. Finally, things are going to turn around. And I say that WWE, when the situation happened, it was an injury. When somebody is dead, they were too far into that show to make that decision. So, you know, what do you do to the fans that are there? You know,
I mean, what fan wouldn't understand if the man died?
I hate to say this. I don't know how to put it the right way. I guess I probably shouldn't even broach it, but what do you do when you talk about refunds? What do you do?
You give it to them. WCW refunded an entire sold-out Providence Civic Center in August of 1998. Either a refund or a free ticket next time they were there, because Goldberg was advertised and his private plane couldn't get out of Pennsylvania, I think, from an autograph signing. So the fans get to enjoy that show, and they either get a refund or they get to come back the next time for free.
So now
WWE couldn't afford to do that?
You're talking about a show and thousands and thousands of pay-per-views. People bought that.
Oh, you mean, I see what you mean, pay-per-view refunds.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So, you know what? Please don't get me wrong, and I don't want anybody to take me the wrong way. But, see, we look at it as individuals. Other people look at it as business. And was I happy with the decision? I probably would have made a different decision. However, what is, and again, one man alone, has to sit there every night, look in that mirror, and say, did I make the right call? Did I make the right call? And to put out that 3D disc, to me, was the worst thing you could have ever done. Worst thing you could have ever done.
Before we go, Johnny, do you think it may entice Bret Hart to take a look at AEW?
I'm going to go so far as to say I think he already has.
If you go back to their first pay-per-view in history, before they were a quote-unquote thing, he came out and displayed that championship belt, which I can't imagine made people in WWE happy. But I don't think anyone realized just how big AEW was going to get back then.
They laughed at AEW. And I sit back with some of my friends as we have, I drink my ginger ale and they have a glass of beer or wine. And I go, so what happened to the 90-day clause? Remember, you were all sitting here. We took bets. It wasn't going to last longer than 90 days. And who's the old man that sat there and said, I'm telling you, this is exactly what Vince McMahon and WWE competition, because they didn't believe there was any competition. And how can you sit there in Titan Towers and deny the fact that you now have competition? If anything, and I know Vince, I'd be sharpening the blade and putting out 10 times the product I have now.
Instead of releasing it.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, wrestling fans, we're wrapping up here. As usual, we jibber-jabber. Let us know what you think if you're watching on Friday Night Live with us, or in the comment section below if you're watching afterwards. The Super Chat button is open. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free. You get access to over 2,000 free videos. Again, with the holidays coming, eBay is rocking. If you want to stream on a phone, a tablet, a computer, I think even on television sets, Patreon.com/Boston Wrestling helps us keep the lights on, keeps the wrestling legends working. But again, folks, we can't stress enough, if you're in the Northeast, by hook or by crook, Saturday night, November the 13th, the historic Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts, baby. Boston Wrestling MWF celebrates 20 years, 2 decades, as we go back to the 90s. Remaining VIP packages and tickets are on sale now at BostonWrestling.com. For Mr. Halloween over there, John Cena Sr., I'm Dan Marati. Until we speak again, folks, good night from Boston.
Wrestling fans, the countdown is on to Boston Wrestling MWF's 20th anniversary bash, Saturday night, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. Join WWE Hall of Famers Hacksaw, Jim Duggan, and Bob Backlund, Marty Jannetty, the Doctor of Style Slick, the Berzerker, Doink the Clown, Duke the Dumpster Droese, Aldo Montoya, plus JTG of Cryme Time, 2-time Impact Wrestling World Champion Die Hard Eddie Edwards, John Cena Sr., and Oscar of Men on a Mission for live wrestling, an autograph photo fan fest, VIP Q&A session with the kickoff to the Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive in a must-see event 2 decades in the making. VIP packages and tickets are on sale now at BostonWrestling.com. We'll see you live in Melrose, November 13th. Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.